Peace and blessings, y'all. I hope you're having a blessed day so far. I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy lives to wish me a happy birthday, to send me a shout out, to send text, to call. I really appreciate it. As I think back to how I used to celebrate my birthday, I sit and kind of just wonder how things would have been back then if I had the Lord in my life. I will say this over and over again. I wish I knew the Lord years ago, because not only would it have saved me a lot of heartache and pain and sadness and stuff, I would have saved a lot of money. Let me tell you. I would have saved my friends a lot of money with the going to dinners and partying and going to the clubs and the bars and spending money on outfits. I think about it now. We kind of, in hindsight, we think of, what would I have done differently? I really wish I knew the Lord years ago. Everything happens for a reason. I learned my lessons because the Lord wanted me to learn the lessons that I needed to learn, and to go through the tough times and to go through the heartaches and all the things that I went through in order to get to this point where now I appreciate a quiet birthday. My husband's like, what do you want to do? We didn't do anything special. We went to the beach. I was able to get me some sneakers that I needed because I haven't had sneakers in such a long time. New sneakers. That does it for me. I'm so grateful and thankful to the Lord for another year. It is a blessing to get older and age. I'm appreciating that a lot more now that I'm working to build a relationship with him. I just wanted to share that because one of the things that I really want to do this year is to share more about how and why I feel the way that I feel and why I share the things that I share. I'm actually going to start posting these on my YouTube page. For those of you who had been following me when I was in my music season, I was recording and stuff. I have a YouTube page. It just has a couple of videos and things of performances and stuff that I did in the past. I'm shifting my focus, obviously, to what I'm going to be posting on there. I wanted to just start doing that. I was watching a podcaster that my husband and I follow. Somebody asked, when do you know when is the right time to share your testimony and to share with people the gospel and to spread the word about Yahusha and our Father? He said, anytime, just do it. Just do it, right? I kind of held back. One, because I want it to be guided by God. I don't want to just talk just to talk or to act like I know everything, because I don't. When you're on this journey with the Lord, he humbles you a lot. And I've gone through such a huge humbling process throughout all of this. When I talk about finding peace through the Lord and finding peace through his son, who came to this world and died for us, he made a huge sacrifice of himself for us. That's something that I don't take for granted at all, especially with the things that I've been through in my life and my path. It's not something I take lightly. It's not something that, and this is coming from somebody who years ago, if you had asked me that in 2026 I would be all about everything Lord and just rejoicing and worshiping and honoring him, I probably would have been like, really? I don't think so. But, here we are. I'm grateful. I really am. I'm grateful for everything that has happened, all the blessings and all of the lessons and the tribulations and trials that I have gone through. I'm learning that everything happens for a reason. We're not living here on this earth according to what we want and our purpose. We think we do, right? When we're in this world and we're having a great old time and living this YOLO, you only live once life, you think you're in control. You're not in control. There have been many times where the Lord tried to show himself to me and reveal himself to me, and I was, it was like this tunnel vision. I had blinders on and I wasn't even about that life. Over the years, I'm gonna say that I started waking up. When I talk about waking up, I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean by waking up. I started waking up. The Lord started waking me up. I'm gonna say 2013, around there. 2012, 2013. The last election that I ever bought into and voted in was the first Obama term. That tells you right there. I don't subscribe to any political parties. I don't subscribe to any religion, any worldly religion here. These are things that I want to talk about and I want to share with people. And I can't do it on Instagram. It's really crazy how for my birthday on the weekend, how Instagram pushed my post, the beach, whatever. They pushed that stuff, personal things. And I got to really see how Instagram pushed my stories. I got like the most views on my Instagram stories and on my feed. But the minute I go back to trying to share positive things and trying to post things on my Instagram stories, went right back down. They start burying my stories again. All of the people who saw my stories this past weekend for my birthday, they're gone because Instagram pushed to bury my stories down the line. Because why? Just look around you. Look at how dark this world has become. Look at how unhinged a lot of people are becoming. In the Bible, God said he was going to give this world to Satan. It shows, because I am trying to just share something positive with people. Instagram just buries it. I'm not surprised. I'm over it. If I was posting twerking videos or posting low vibrational stuff, I've said this so many times, my numbers would be up there. When I was posting on my first page a lot of vain things, vanity, my whole page was about me, 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 me. I was getting tons of likes and views. I had like over 1,000, maybe close to 2,000 followers and everything. Granted, that was because I was trying to do the music stuff. But it's just sad. It's really sad to see that when you're trying to be a light in this world and you're trying to share things with people, how social media just buries it. It goes to show that how the algorithms are built. They want to constantly keep us in darkness and on these low vibrations and everything, because we know whether you are someone who believes in God or the Bible, there is something, I'm sure, deep inside you that tells you that the God of this world, we know who it is, and he doesn't want us to be a light. He doesn't want people who are coming to the light to come to God and to realize the deceptions of this world and everything. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy to see it when you start pulling yourself out of this world and all of these things, and the veil has lifted. And so, I thank God for another year on this earth where he has slowly been revealing things to me. Like I was saying, to go back, I started waking up around 2013. I started waking up to the government stuff, political parties. I wasn't fully awake yet to religion stuff. That's how it works. That's how it works. A seed was planted within me. Somebody planted a seed about whether it was politics or it was something about the government at the time. That was like where it just kind of snowballed, right? For me personally. I want to speak to not only those who are waking up. I want my messages to be not only geared toward those who are waking up, who know what this world is all about. I want my messages to be to those who don't know the Lord, who shut the Lord out because of hurt, because of church hurt. You got bad vibes, or you had a bad relationship with somebody in a church, or you never picked up a Bible because it just wasn't something that you were taught. I went to Catholic school for most of my childhood, first grade through eighth grade. All of the things that the Lord has revealed to me now, I never learned when I was in Catholic school. I never learned these things. Now when I start learning them, I feel like I was robbed. I feel like something was taken away from me in terms of learning the truth. So now, as you start waking up, you have to unlearn all of the things that we were taught and learned in school, by our parents, our family. All of those things, we gotta roll it up, throw it in the trash, start all over. But that is the whole point of coming to the Lord, is you are starting over. You are a new creation. When you surrender to the Lord and you give yourself to Him, you speak life into your path, you will start to see how the Lord opens doors for you. And this is where I am on this journey right now. I love it. I appreciate being able to discern not only discern the events that are happening in this world, be able to see what's fake and what's phony, and what all the propaganda and all that stuff. It has given me such a different feeling and desire of wanting to read the word more, to seek out the Lord and just pray and have a prayer life. It was not about this life before. I never imagine in a million years that I would be talking about these things. And so I want to give the example before I stop, because I know I'm getting on like 14 minutes already, 15 minutes into this. And this is why I'm going to post this on my YouTube. I just said, what the heck? I'm going to post it on my YouTube. If people get to see it and it touches somebody, it strikes a chord with someone, then I did my job. I feel that God placed me here to be a messenger and to just not be afraid. I'm not afraid to share my faith. I will say that maybe a couple of years ago, I was, and I'm going to be honest. I kind of, I wanted to share things, but then I kind of felt like, people are going to think I'm crazy, or people are going to be like, oh, this religious nut, or Bible thumper, and all these things. That now I've come to a place in my life where I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care, because understand this, like I said, whether you believe in a higher power or not, everything that is coming to pass has been prophesied in the Bible. It's going to happen whether you believe in Him or you don't. Whether you believe in Jesus or Yahusha, it's going to happen. This body here, this right here, is temporary. It's temporary. God is looking at every single thing that we're doing on this earth, so that when He calls us out of this world to be with Him, that is when I feel life is going to begin, because we're going to all be judged for the things that we did, right or wrong, in this world. I prefer to be on the right side, on the right hand of the Father, with His Son when I leave this earth. So my mission and my purpose is to help others. This is why I'm going to be posting this and putting this out there. So again, before I stop, I am going to give you an example of what I mean about coming out of darkness into the light. So horror movies. I loved horror movies when I was growing up. We used to watch horror movies all the time. We watch horror movie marathons during Halloween. I was into everything. Every single holiday of this world, I was into. You name it, I was into it. It was a special day to me. I found joy in these holidays, these man-made holidays. Every, Halloween, we go trick-or-treating and we go and watch Halloween. That was one of the movies that always came out, always played either that day or it played the whole month. They play horror movies. Now I can't watch a horror movie for the life of me. I cannot watch it. Something that I loved so much. I'm gonna tell you, I could tell you all about the different kind of horror movies. I was definitely a horror movie connoisseur. And or any movies. I'm very much into movies and TV shows and all that stuff. So one day I was sitting and I was like, Lord, how is it that something I love so much, all of a sudden, I can't even stand to watch. I can't stand to listen. Like if somebody was watching a horror movie and people are yelling and screaming, whatever, I can't hear it. It bothers me. It disturbs my spirit. One day I was just wondering, I was like, well, how is that possible? How is it that something I love so much, I absolutely cannot watch now? And I will not allow my little one to watch any horror movies or anything like that. When I was a kid, kind of thinking, going back, like, how was I watching these things? How was I ingesting this violence and all that stuff and loving it? It was just like a light bulb flickered in my head, and I put two and two together. It was like, well, the Lord he's drawing me out. He's taking me out of the darkness. The reason why I love horror movies so much, Halloween and all that stuff, was because I was in darkness. I didn't even know it. I was in so much darkness. That's why I loved Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all of these, even the B movies and C movies. Sometimes I watch some low budget horror movies and gore and all this stuff. Like, it didn't bother me. It was like when people were like, I don't like horror movies, it was like, what? I love horror movies. And I was like, how is that? How can a switch just turn off like that? It was when I realized that the Lord was pushing me to the light. That is why I could not watch horror movies anymore. That is why I cannot, even if I try, like, to watch something, if I wanted to, just to see if there were a message, because now I watch TV and movies just to find the message within the movie or the show. I cannot watch it. I cannot watch, even though I know it's fake. We know it's fake. It's fake makeup and all that stuff. You know, folks aren't really getting chased by a maniac. But I just could not. My spirit cannot receive that type of darkness anymore. That's when I realized that's what it means when the Bible talks about coming from darkness to the light. Once God calls you out of the darkness, he starts pushing you and guiding you towards the light. That is when you find peace, peace that you could never find before. I used to say, I'm blessed. I believed in a higher power, always believed in a higher power, not to this level where I am now. I believed, but I was not obeying. I was not obeying the Lord. I believed. I had both feet in the world, doing a lot of worldly things. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it means. That's why I can't watch this. That's why I can't listen to certain music too. Same thing goes for music. There's certain songs and music and things that if I listen to it now, once I really listen to the words and the lyrics, I'm like, oh, I gotta take this off my playlist. It doesn't sit with my spirit very well. So that is where we are, my people. I just wanted to share that. I wanted to give an example of what I mean when I talking about waking up and coming out of darkness and everything. That's just what I wanted to share, what I mean about that. So from time to time, like I said, whenever I feel led, because it's not going to be just something that I'm going to post just because I want likes and views and all that stuff. I'm not about that life. I'm not about that content creator life or anything. I'm about real life. I'm about posting real things and real truth. So from time to time, I will share some stuff whenever the Lord calls me to share something, whenever he puts it in my heart and my spirit to share something. Because we are in an age where a lot of people are waking up. And I've said this many times. I'm sure you got somebody in your friend group or your family who you probably look at that's crazy because you think they're a conspiracy theorist. No, The theories are coming to light because in the Bible, the Lord says in his word, everything that is hidden is going to be revealed. That is what you're seeing now, my people. That's what you're seeing. These Epstein things and all this stuff that's happening. Not only is it just a distraction, this is the power of God's hands, where he is allowing things to be revealed to wake more people up. He's waking up his remnant. He needs an army, my folks. He needs an army. He needs an army. I'm ready to be on that army, no matter what. I'm trying to build a team of people too. Whatever he leads me to is the direction I'm going to go. And that is what my life is about now. Any major decisions that we make, I go to the Lord. I don't go to nobody else. I don't go to friends. I don't go to family. I go to the Lord. I ask him, show me, please show me a sign. Which way do I go? Because we think we're in control of our lives, but we're not. He is in control of every single thing. Once we kind of get on board with that, we start realizing that we need the Lord, that we need him, especially in these times. He is going to open his arms to you. I have no doubt about that. So anyway, I hope that this message somehow blesses someone who is struggling right now, who has doubts or is questioning whether they're on the right path and questioning, if I do follow the Lord, everybody's going to hate me. I'm not going to have friends. I'm not going to have family. Jesus said it. When you decide to pick up your cross daily and follow him, you're going to be hated by the world just like he was hated. At the end of the day, your soul is what matters when you leave this earth. Your soul, yours, only yours, nobody else. Don't worry about anybody else. Worry about you. Anyway, just show my spoiler, God wins, because even though we may think that these people out here are running things, he's allowing them to run things, just like he did in the Bible. He allowed Pharaoh to keep the Israelites oppressed and as slaves. He allowed it. He hardened his heart. It's in there. There's nothing new under the sun. It's in there. I love this shirt because in the end, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. I hope that you allow him to direct your steps so that you can win too. I hope this message blesses somebody who needed to hear it. Bye.